Call to order. It is 6:34 p.m. January 14th. For the Planning and Zoning Commission, the quorum is present. Move for public comments on the non-agenda items. Comment will be taken from the audience on the non-agenda related topics for a length of time not to exceed 3 minutes per person. White card, and then the yellow card. Comments will be taken from the audience on non-agenda and agenda items combined for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes total per person on all items, except for public hearings. Comments on public hearing items must be made when the item comes before the commission, not to exceed 2 minutes per person. No action or discussion may be taken from the commission during public comments on non-agenda items. We do have the cards, and we have Mr. Robert Battle. It's the yellow card. It's combined. Yeah.
Thank you, commissioners. My name's Robert Battle. You guys have done a few good things, so I don't want to take that from you. But the thing is, you still aren't anywhere near to being a quasi-independent commission, which is what really we need. We need somebody to balance the incompetence of the city council. And just quickly, we talked about non-discretionary and discretionary items. You guys can still vote. You can make your vote known. It doesn't mean you can't vote. It just means it may not have any legal impact, but it can still make a statement. Now, you guys stopped the tree for a couple of months from being torn down, 29-inch pecan tree. Why didn't you guys call some town halls about that? This is Maynard Downs. You know, we don't have a planning department in the city anymore. They erased that, and now it's all service, or it's all development services. We need planning. For instance, when we're talking about that tree, I thought Mr. Myers said, come back to us with a couple of other options. I don't recall the developer ever coming back with any options. Now, also, when the city engineers say that something's okay to build such and such there, they're not implying that that's their best thing they can do. We could also say, hey, city attorneys, you give us 3 options, and we'll bill that to the developer since they never came up with them. This notion that we can't even reroute a pump for one tree, that whole way that was done, it's an improper de-annexation. And I have a big lawsuit. I'm trying to get that thrown out, that whole thing. You guys got played for chumps. Speaking of Monarch Ranch, they're here again. And once again, we don't really have the full record. So if somebody came here for the first time and they wanted to see what's going on, they wouldn't learn anything. I was looking back at my files from 2022. And this is their little legend here. It shows what their land use is. They have this little color codes here. There's no parkland. N-O-N-O parkland, parkland, one word, of course. So the fact that they're not paying any fees, and also I just got a FOIA request back on another park thing, and it was a receipt for $155,000. That didn't tell me anything. So the planning department, I'm assuming they have worksheets. Do you guys do worksheets? Most cities have a worksheet that says how many homes times what per home, how many amenities, how many acres, how much development fees. So every time you guys screw up, I'm having to do a municipal court complaint, and everybody in there that's knowingly involved could be liable for up to a $500 fine. They just went off and held a secret meeting about the downtown plan. Well, when they changed the downtown from here to there, they need to go back and get rid of this nonsense. This is still what their downtown plan is. So you guys need to take it upon yourself to throw out the comprehensive plan and completely redo that. This nonsense that this is a commercial corridor, I mean, come on. Scott Dunlap himself admitted that the dashboards were totally fabricated by Freese and knuckleheads. I mean Nichols. Did I say knuckleheads? I'm sorry. So I'm all for you guys. Mr. Paez is not here tonight, but as far as choosing a commission or a chairperson and a chairman, one thing the agenda doesn't say is who prepared the agenda. Is Scott Dunlap still running the town, or is Mike? You know, I'm just curious who prepares these. You guys could have your own secretary. You can prepare your own agendas. I think you guys should start meeting twice a month. I also think you should get a stipend of maybe $500 or $1,000 a month. We need to get people that really know how to take the bull by the horns, because the developers have taken over our town. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's not only they've taken over it, we give them money to destroy it. Now, this new place over here, Las Estradas, and all these new buildings, that's over 10 acres. That demands a plaza. We should have a plaza there. We should have a plaza at Manor Commons. We should have a plaza at Manor Crossing. And there's one other one, I'm forgetting the name of it, that's also, is that my little chirper?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I like that. Hey, how about let's get a timer light for the podium someday? That would really show them who's running things. Oh, here's my big map. I'm sorry.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Agenda item number 1 for public hearing on the specific use permit for up to 13,000 square feet of medical office. One lot on 6.76 acres, more or less, and being lot 1A, block A, Las Estradas North, section 3, also known as 12420 Tilgate Pass, Manor, Texas. And we have Mr. Robert Battle, and we have Kelly Agnor. Ford does not wish to speak on this item, but is available for any questions on that. Yep.
Thank you. My name's Robert Battle. Now, hearings used to be where we could ask questions and we would get some answers sometimes. So this one here, my main question is based on the history of what we do with other developments, such as Manor Crossing and Manor Commons on 973 and 290, where we give them the farm. Now, this also is part of a TERS plan number 2. Why is this in TERS? There's nothing blighted about this. This was a giveaway to Pete Dwyer and all his buddies. That's all it was, pure and simple. So what I want to know basically is how does the status of that TERS impact this particular property? Because for another reason, are they getting a Chapter 380 grant? We gave Manor 13100, HEB and Walmart, or not Walmart, excuse me, Home Depot. We gave them $20 million. How many million are we giving Pete Dwyer and his friends over here? Pete Dwyer and Barth Timmerman have been running this town for the last 25 years. They get sweetheart deals right, left, and center, over and over and over. So what I'd like to know is this is part of the TERS. How many millions are we giving them off their property taxes for the next 25 years? Or is this a lease situation, or are they going to buy the property and then they're going to get half of the sales tax or the property taxes for 25 years? That's what they do on some of these giveaways. So please, I'd like the answers to the TERS and if there's any Chapter 380 overlays on this property. Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I move we close the public hearing on item 1.
Second.
All right, it's been motion by Commissioner Stensland, second by Commissioner Terry. All in favor, say aye. Aye, say aye. Y'all raise your hand. All right. All opposed. All right. Public hearing is closed. Yes, the motion passed. Yes. All right. Consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the Planning and Zoning Commission and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by the chair or commissioner, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. This is consideration, discussion, possible action to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission regular session.
Chair, I move approval of item 2 or the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Stensland, second by Commissioner Meyer. All in favor, say.
Required first.
Yeah.
There's an error in the commissioners that were present. Commissioner Albert wasn't present that day.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do you want, so if we need to pull an item off, no.
Commission members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. What we would require or we would ask is that whoever made the motion, if you can just amend your motion and the second to make the correction as noted.
Commissioner, I will restate, or I offer to move to approve the consent agenda with a correction to the minutes on item 2 to reflect that Nathan Aubert, place 1, was absent at the December 10th, 2025 meeting.
Now second.
All right. Okay, so we have the amended motion by Commissioner Stensland, second by Commissioner Meyer, to note that Commissioner Albert was absent, noted in the meeting minutes. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All right, motion passes.
I move to recall item 2. Reconsider. I move to reconsider item 2. Huh? Yeah. I know. I've offered a motion. I move to reconsider item 2.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to reconsider item number 2, and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion
Yeah,
passes.
I
Commissioners,
apologize. I didn't notice that it listed me as being present. My mother-in-law was on a hospice care, and I was not here on December 10th.
No.
I didn't see that I was listed as being present at the last meeting.
and I apologize for that oversight. I was looking at the votes and could not calculate. I apologize also for a third motion on the same item. Commissioners, I offer to approve item 2 with the corrections to the record that Nathan Aubert, place 1, and James Terry, place 7, were both absent from the meeting, in addition to Vice Chair Prince Chavis, place 2.
And I'll second.
All right. Okay, so we have another motion with another correction. And this is, we're going to confirm these corrections. I'm already on here as absent. So there's place 1 and then place 7. Both are absent. Okay, and that means that there were 4 commissioners present. That's correct. All right. Now, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, all opposed. All right, motion passes. All right, so for the regular agenda items, we're pulling agenda items number 3 and 4, and we'll move on to number 5. Consideration, discussion, possible action on a specific use permit for up to 13,000 square feet of medical office, one lot on 6.7 acres more or less, and being lot 1A, block A, Los Estradas, North Section 3, also known as 1240 Tilgate Pass, Maynard, Texas. All right, so we have you on every one of them, huh, sir? Everyone.
So this property is the Los Entradas one over where Frost Bank is. They're building the Breaks Plus. There's some inline tenant spaces and the Bojangles. And with it being zone C1, it doesn't allow medical office and professional office by right. You need a specific use permit. You've seen these come up for Maynard Crossings, done one. And there's been some others throughout the city. And so this one, there's 2 proposed medical uses within the development. One is Action Behavior Center, which currently operates in the city up within the medical tower over there in Shadow Glen, and then DECA Dental. They both have building permits filed, and then their building permits were flagged that they would need a specific use permit. There's a representative here tonight from Action Behavior Center. They're a little ahead of the dentist office in terms of their permitting and what they're trying to achieve. And with they're requesting 13,000 square feet for the entire development, which is 9 acres, and then there's the Bojangles lot on the other side of Tilgang or State School, which I think is State School. And in total, with the 13,000 square feet requested, and then the bank, which is a financial institution which does not require an SUP, so even though it doesn't generate sales tax, those are allowed without specific use permits. It brings the total for the development up to 18,485 square feet, which is roughly about 35% of the total built and proposed square footage for it. Staff is recommending to approve the 7370, which is what Action Behavior Center is currently requesting through their building permit in their space. That amount of square footage plus the existing Frost Bank, though, is 12,855 square feet, which is 24% of the development. If you were to leave it at just Frost Bank, which again doesn't require that specific use permit, but isn't typically a sales tax generating use, that's already at 10% of the development. The total thing built out is 53,000 square feet. So I believe Maynard Crossing, which is obviously a much larger development, was approved to about 10,000 or 10% of their available spaces for non-sales tax generated uses. And again, this development's already at that. But staff is recommending, allowing Action Behavior Center to be 70,070 square feet. this Las Entradas is a much larger development, so there are other phases to it that aren't owned and controlled by the developer who's doing this one small 9-acre portion of it. So there will be more retail and other shopping areas around this that are part of Las Entradas, just not part of this one developer's project. And then to Mr. Bataya's questions, I actually don't know if the TERS 2 is on the north side of 290, but if it were, TERS 2 doesn't go to the developer. That is actually, it comes to the city as a recapture for the city to invest within the TERS, which is this downtown area. And then you have to have a certain amount of commercial square footage within a TERS. It has to be a majority commercial square footage. So that's how Las Entradas got brought into it, because it's a large commercial development that isn't built out at this point. So again, any TERS recapture there is to the city for reinvestment primarily into the downtown area. And there's no Chapter 380 agreement with the developer, so they don't recoup any sales tax or any property tax in that. There is a public improvement district, the Entrada Glen Public Improvement District, and so that's how this developer is financing some of the public improvements within this. But that is an assessment that is paid by the property owners within the development.
Mr. Dunlop, the PID though also reduces the amount of capturable property tax revenue from this development while that PID is being repaid. Is that correct? Or is the PID paid as an assessment? No, the PID's an assessment on the property over the time.
Yes, the PID is an assessment, and we have an agreement with the Central Appraisal District, so it's part of their tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
So some people functionally think of it as a tax, but it's really an assessment. So it doesn't reduce the amount of taxes they're paying.
Okay.
We have an equivalent tax rate.
The TERS, though, however, may impact it if it extends north of 290.
Yes, the TERS, they would still pay the same amount of taxes. It would just a portion of their tax, the increment increase in their tax would go to a special fund that's restricted for use within the district.
Okay. Does the applicant is not here?
There's a representative from Action Behavior.
No, but Mr. Dwyer and his daughter are not here, or anybody else from Dwyer, from the developer of Las Entradas.
No, but also this is not Dwyer. This was purchased. Oh, sorry, person in the back.
Hi.
Apologies for that. And like I said, this isn't Dwyer Realty and Dwyer Companies. They sold this to another developer. So
to LVE Las Entradas REG LP.
Yes,
that's still like the same thing, but
I believe so.
Okay. I'm just I'm seeking some clarity on what was discussed when they went through the original planning and zoning, or the zoning category for this, as far as the expectations of the city for this. I'm going to call them gold acres and like silver acres. The gold acres are the ones that we receive the sales tax from in the current structure of the jurisdictional boundaries of Manor. The silver acres are the ones that are not currently are in the city limits of Manor, but are not allowed to have sales tax revenue go to them, if that makes sense to everyone. This is a golden acre property. So, and we don't have many of those. So I'm concerned with even the recommendation of staff as to, I wanted to just understand why the 7370 was considered, since that would more than double the non-sales tax revenue generating square footage in this property.
Yeah. If that was a question to me. Okay. Sorry. Before I jump in, mainly because this 9 acres plus Bojangles is just a small-ish portion of the overall Las Entradas project, and so you need to think of it in the context that this is one little section of a larger area that's going to have other retail spaces. If that 24, those different percentages I presented would all be reduced if you kind of factor in the future other commercial areas. But if you want to look at it just as this one project, then yes, it would exceed what's been previously allowed.
This is the front of that property. This is the higher value location on this development. If future phases are going to be, well, obviously there's going to be one future phase to the east, And then the rest of the future phases will be to the north and to the west, further away from the frontage, where you want to have that high revenue, high impact facility because of the street frontage. That's why people don't choose to set up an ice cream shop at the end of Tower Road. They set up on 290 in front of 290. They set up the McDonald's is not getting set up, at the end of, FM 1100. It's being set up right there on the corner of Paseo de Presidente and 290. So I'm concerned about sacrificing additional square footage in a high, in the high prominent location. So I'm just
No,
I'm worried about what that is and what the precedent is that this would be setting for future developments, because we're using the benchmark of 10% for Manor Crossing. Yeah, Manor Crossing. And I know that from watching council on that one, that was a consternation because you're losing square footage that is high revenue generating square footage. Golden pennies on golden acres, you're losing them by the thousands of square feet. So I think I've got my questions clarified, but thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, can I entertain a motion?
Commissioners, I move we deny this request for a specific use permit.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All right, it's properly moved and second to deny this specific use permit. All in favor? Raise your hand. All right, all opposed? All right. Okay, so the motion to deny is passed. We have let's see, one is not in favor of that, and place one. You can, note on that. Okay. All right, agenda item number 6, consideration, discussion, and possible action on the subdivision final plat for Monarch Ranch being 141 lots on 44.68 acres more or less, and being generally located near the intersection of Monarch Ranch Drive and Greg Lane, Maynard, Texas. Go ahead, staff.
Sure. So this is the second of. Sorry, say something? Okay. Sorry about that. This is the second of 3 phases for Monarch Ranch. It's 141 lots. 134 are single family residential, and 6 of them are open space and landscape lots. And it's a non-discretionary item, so we are recommending approval.
I'd like to make a note that on the vicinity map that there's an error in labeling the street US Highway 130. I believe that's Greg Maynard Road instead. That's the only point I want to make.
Thank you. We'll let them know before they send us a Mylar to record.
Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. This would be approved with a correction, just to make sure it's stated for the record in the motion.
Commissioners, I move approval of item 6 with the aforementioned correction to the site map, or is that a site map?
The vicinity map.
The vicinity map.
Second.
All right, so we have probably moved in second to approve the subdivision final plat with the correction to the vicinity map. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All right, the motion is passed. All right, agenda item number 7, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a setback waiver request for 505 East Burton Street, Manor, Texas.
Sure. So this property, it's a typical single-family lot. There's a lot here in town where it's 50 by 115. You can see it there. It's the very end of East Burton near Hamilton Point. They are requesting again, a typical setback waiver to reduce the setbacks in compliance with, allowable under code, to have a 20-foot front setback, 10-foot rear setback, and 5-foot setbacks on the side. And again, that allows for a home to be constructed that meets our architectural and zoning standards without any variances.
Commissioners, pardon me, not commissioners, staff. We've had other setback waivers for this same block, I believe, correct?
Yes, you can
Okay.
see there's 2 houses just to the west of it.
Yeah.
Those are 2 newer homes that would have, I'm almost certain, have also have setback waivers.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any questions? Yeah. Entertain a motion.
I
Move to
make a
approve.
motion. I make the motion that we approve item number 7 for the setback waiver.
I'll second.
All right, so it's probably moved in second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, all opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, get a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's 7:08 p.m. It's probably moved and second to adjourn. All in favor?